So, in response to working with entrepreneurs from a mentor and mentee perspective, a lot of times it comes down to access. When I mentor a lot of entrepreneurs, they want to know how do they get to a certain event or contact a certain individual, or whether it be an investor or press or media, or just saying you're looking for a co-founder. And especially out here in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, you come out here and it's like you look at a lot of tech founders and read everything on the tech blogs, and it can be a little intimidating. And you look at these people as rock stars, so to speak, and I have to tell them lower the barrier, because everybody put their pants or skirts on like you do, and so just be yourself, be confident. But in terms of access, you really have to like get out and network. Don't be afraid to go to environments where you may be the only black person. You may be the minority in the room,
Sure.
and you got to hold your own. And it can be very intimidating. And so confidence is very key when you step in the doors of technology, be a founder, so to speak. There's this study, talking about entrepreneurship, and Dan and Tracy were talking about earlier in terms of entrepreneurs are made. I know Stanford does a lot of research on entrepreneurship because #1 entrepreneur school in the country, in the world, and it's trying to study what makes a successful entrepreneur. And I know, Paul Graham and other venture capitalists, they look for these characteristics of a great entrepreneur, and part of that is caught up in what you say, pattern matching. And so for entrepreneurs, just say, look, you have to have confidence. You have to have that, we can say in our demographic, the swag, so to speak. That level, you walk in the door, it's like, I'm a great person, I'm a great developer, I'm a great designer, I'm a great entrepreneur, this is a great idea. And I'm actually going to be successful regardless of you work with me or not. Not be in the position of saying, you know what, I got this idea, I think it's going to be big, and, I might need some venture capital or angel, it could change the world, it could impact, it's got a large market. No, you got to have that confidence saying, hey, this is my product, this is my passion, and it's going to be successful. I'm going to give it 100%. I'm just trying to figure out whether you want to work with me because I'm going to the next level or not.
Love it.
And that's the type of attitude that entrepreneurs have to have, especially out here in Silicon Valley, but in tech in general. In terms of what's next, and for Blacks in Technology, I really hope it's a real movement in terms of innovation and thrive for education and technology. We was on a panel last night. I was moderating a panel, a NSBE panel, about diversity and innovation. That's some of the things we talked about in terms of there's a lot of jobs out there, right, for individual technology, but and they're saying it's hard to find talent. Then it's hard to find African Americans to fill those jobs because a lot of us are not qualified. And so it's making the HR process. We're saying, well, why there's only one board member here who's African American, or women who we can't find a woman board member, or why is the whole tech, all your developers are all young white men? Well, are we qualified to fill those jobs?
Right.
And so that's where this big move in terms of learning the code and STEM and digital literacy, like the work they're doing in Oakland Digital Literate Arts Center, is so important, because we have to get our kids and the current generation to focus on technology. Because moving forward is, right now there's a big trend is wearables and tech, right? The fitness bands and so forth. There's rumors of Apple's coming up with a wearable device that's going to track your blood pressure, heart monitor, things of that nature. Then, there's also a lot of health and fitness apps. The entire health industry is going to be changing soon because of what we can do with technology. And then there's niche focus on e-commerce still. E-commerce is still huge. There's mobile payments, huge, still opportunities. We just saw what happened with Facebook paying $19 billion with cash and equity for a mobile app. That only thing it did was text message.
Amazing.
And they're saying that early employees gonna maybe make, I think, around 160 million each.
55 employees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. And so it's like, what are we doing? How are we prepared to build those next generation mobile apps?
Can I get a piece?
Right?
Please, can the brother get a piece?
It's like build those next generation mobile apps. How are we gonna be developers to build applications around hardware and sensors? And then there's talking about we're on the verge of a new entire industrial age around 3D printing. Entire new industrial engineering age, right? We're going to need designers still. We're going to need developers and engineers to do this, to program these new construction pieces, cars 3D printed, bones, medical devices 3D printed, other consumer like things for your home be 3D printing. And so it's still going to need work. And so that doesn't mean, it's putting people out of work. No, that means that, okay, we need to learn new skill sets to be prepared for the new aging technology is coming.
So there's a lot of businesses yet to be discovered.
Yes.
In technology.
Yes.
And I'm glad you talked about that, because I want to kind of, before I jump to women, because I got to get a perspective from you, Tracy, on the interest from women. And if women are out there looking for opportunity in our in the technology business, but if it's just some things that are out there, but I don't want to get too far off. Wayne, I want to ask you, granular with it. I mean, why should young people listening to our conversation right now, why should they consider a technology-based business? I get it. We get it here. But it just seems like they don't understand why they ought to consider technology as a type of business. People are looking for a brick and mortar type of physical business, but we don't, maybe they don't get it.
Yeah. I would say the why is because technology is impacting every single thing we do in our daily lives, everything. And it's only going to become more immersed. And I get it because I have conversation with different people who loves tech and people who are afraid of tech.
Right.
You know, I'm from North Carolina to the South. And so there's a huge digital divide from North Carolina, population 200 where I grew up at, to San Francisco.
I mean, we sitting here in the innovation capital. So, I mean, we can all be on a high horse.
Yeah. Woohoo! Exactly, right? And so technology can save you time.
Right.
Technology can educate you. Like, we was talking earlier about, how important it is to be in an environment where education is thriving. And there's like tons of resources where you can go and learn a new skill set. That means you can create new income, right? But then there's also just understanding about technology because it's going to impact your life or your kids' life. And that's another thing too. Technology is going to hit the school system. So if you're not, involved in tech, then it's going to like force itself on you eventually.
So what about the people who have for example, a t-shirt business? Give me a 1, 2, 3 on kind of what I ought to be thinking if I want to evolve with the times in this t-shirt business that sells,
Is it brick and mortar?
It is not brick and mortar.
Okay, just online t-shirt.
Online t-shirt business, but I do trade shows. Yeah. I do integrations. I work with the radio station, maybe. Maybe I do a licensing deal or some type of what do you call it? Deal with consignment scenario where you allow a store to, like some type of licensing scenario, but you don't have a real thriving technology-based business.
Yeah. So part of that, one, I'm a marketing hat, my social media hat on, so forth, in terms of the technology, is that from a t-shirt business, how are you leveraging social media and to market your business across the board, right? In terms of saying interact with your consumers to help increase your demand.
Right.
I think that should be like number one. Is like, all right, you got a consumer base. How can you get your consumers say to buy the t-shirt if it's your logo, your brand, to get them to post online and so forth, so that actually creates more awareness to increase your residual income. Okay. So that's number one. Make sure you're using social media for marketing, distribution, things of that nature. Next, I'm thinking about the commerce play, right? In terms of how are you using e-commerce technology, your platform, to sell online. Right. There should be no reason why you don't have an online store that is constantly just generating income.
Now, should you trouble yourself with having to have these back orders of shirts, or should it all be more of like an pre-order scenario where you got the list of products, but it's where you kind of deliver the expectation and you deliver that product in 7 to 10 days maybe or something? Is that a viable, a perspective to really get into that?
Yeah, well, I think in 2014 it should be, a combination of both. It should be, you have your quantity orders that's already. We also do on demand because of weird like you think about Nike, right? Nike, when I'm not sure when that time hit, but somewhere in the last 10, 15 years, I don't know when, but when Nike's saying, all right, you design your own shoe and we deliver it to you, right? I mean, I saw one of my friends on Facebook got her new Nike running shoe, right? And she complete customer. I can go to, I think, the mall here and say, go to the Nike store and say, hey, put these colors on it, design it right there, boom, it's I will come back a couple hours later and it's done. Right. So if Nike can do it, and it's not like they have more resources, but they're just using different technology. And so why can't the t-shirt business do that, right? And there's a t-shirt company that already exists that has the capability of saying not only kind of like crowdfunding. Like you could basically like you come on a shirt you want to get printed, contact your network and get enough people to invest in getting that shirt printed. We customize and we print it for you. And so that already exists. So if you own your t-shirt company, then you should. My opinion is that you should have the capabilities to print on demand custom product for your consumers. And then lastly, I always think about payments, like mobile payments, right? If you have a t-shirt business and you go to, like you mentioned, trade shows or things of that nature, there's no reason why somebody saying that I want to buy a shirt from you right now. Here's my credit card. How can we process this order?
Love it.
And there's too many ways from Square to PayPal, Intuit, Visa has an integration hardware device, or just use a native app to take your payments.
Amazing.
There's no reason in 2014 nobody say, look, I cannot receive your money via credit card right now.
Right now, give it here.
Right now.
Kevin Hart did it with his movie. One of the movies. What's the name of the movie?
Think Like a Man.
Think like one of the movies. The recent movies he did with the Fandango drove sales 66%. The sales were all done on a mobile device. First time ever.
Nice. That was the wrong movie. About last night.
About last night. That's it. About last night.
That was a crazy
But
movie.
a huge demonstration of having that mobile access to collecting funds right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Tracy, talk to me about where and I'm sorry, I don't mean to put you in a corner like this, but just give us a balance of the interest community or people maybe you see on the educational side of the interests from women, from young people, or the diversity of new entrepreneurs and their interest in getting involved.
There's a tremendous amount of interest. What I find is people just don't know. They don't know what they don't know. I think about my own journey in figuring out how to make the transition from an education to an education entrepreneur. And I'm very grateful for the people who took time to speak with me and talk with me, but it also took some initiative on my part.
Right.
And what I'm finding is for young women on the collegiate level, for example, they get doors shut in their face and they're crushed.
Right.
And they're not sure how to pick themselves up and how to move forward. And I think that there's a tremendous interest, but there is a real opportunity for mentorship. We have to, as a community, take time to reach back and mentor some of our young people, no matter where we are in our careers. And so, yes, you have to have some what they call chutzpah, to get going in starting a business, but you also have to have the community and people who are willing to invest time with you. I'm grateful for the many mentors that I have. I have a ton. And people who are willing to offer advice, and some good and some useful and some not.
Sure.
But building that community amongst women is really important. Traditionally, women there's this whole Lean In movement developed by Sheryl Sandberg, but I'm not sure how that translates for African American women.
Right.
And so we have to, we have to establish our own way and our own network.
Glad you said that, though.
It is different. It's a different experience, and I've talked with women about this, about the fact that traditionally we have not been as supportive of one another as we could be. And we're asking the question, why is that happening? Why is that? What is the fear? And there's a protective quality that we have over our ideas, of our own innovation, and that we may or may not be willing to share with one another, and to build a small community, cohorts and groups to help each other to progress along the way. And so I think we need to come up with our own version of leaning in. And I'm really excited because I'm working with a couple of women. A woman, she's an engineer down in Los Altos, and one of my good friends who's a strategic strategy consultant. And we're trying to figure out, how do we make this happen?
Right.
I'm African American, one's Caucasian, one's Iranian. And so we're like, how do we build this in a non-traditional, corporate way, where we're on a grassroots level? How do we help women in empowering themselves?
That's appealing.
Yes, that is appealing, and that it will translate to helping our children to excel and helping the schools. There's a progression. I think there's a real opportunity for information to be passed along, and we're not taking as much advantage of it. Something else you talked about earlier. I want to go back to the access piece. I was at the NESB event that Wayne moderated last night, and some of the engineers in the room talked about how they go into schools and the students don't have adequate wireless service.
Wow.
Simple, or not even wireless, I'm sorry, just internet access.
Sure.
So you're talking about everyone saying, oh, everyone needs to learn how to code. Everyone needs to learn about entrepreneurship. But you're talking about basic access in the schools. And then another engineer said, well, you have students who have these devices and they can post on Facebook, they can do Instagram, they can do Tumblr, they can do Twitter, everything, but they don't have internet access at home. And so if there is a homework assignment to be done, or if there is an opportunity for some learning to happen at home in the family, it's not happening because we are spending, as a community, we're becoming more consumers and spending money on mobile devices than actually on being developers of our own
problems or
Yes.
creating solutions for those.
Right.
I love it because I want to eventually I want to throw that to Wayne and Dan here to help us maybe create a project where we can solve that problem. But Tracy, can you talk to us about some resources, things you
Yes.
used as an African American woman who helped you that you use as references or you referred to that you went to for information that people listening to us
Yes.
can go to and
It's extensive.
or just a couple,
Just a couple. I attended actually the workshop at Stanford, and that's where I made the effort to get to know a lot of people who are presenting. I'm very grateful for Matt Wise from COSAMBO. He took time to actually speak with me, and I said, I have this idea. This is the plan I'm working. He goes, stop right there. If you want to develop a product or to build your business, you got to know your clients first.
Okay.
So something very basic. He says the traditional business model has to be flipped. You don't build a business and then go look for clients. You have to find out what is it that people need. And so hearing that pearl of wisdom completely changed the way I approach the way I'm building my business. The other thing is I cannot emphasize enough mentorship and partnerships. I mean, I went into schools. I mean, I talked with some people who were doing workshops at the Commonwealth. I made time in my schedule to go and meet people and talk with people and ask them, how do I do this? Being humble enough to ask a question and being a learner, being a lifelong learner was something that was really important. One of my advisors is the provost and vice president of academic affairs at SF State, Dr. Sue Rosser. Another one of my advisors is Carol Mueller.
So did you seek these relationships out?
I did.
You were deliberate.
I was very deliberate.
But you didn't know them when you...
I did not know them.
How did you initiate the relationship?
Well, when I would go to see these workshops, I'd say, can I meet with you? I
Okay.
would love to talk to you. This is my idea, and I could use your expertise. Can you help me?
And you found that people were really receptive.
At 100%. 100%. All I had to do was ask. I mean, and if they didn't have time, they said, I don't have time this month. Are you available next month? And so I did, yep, great. I followed up. Thank you so much for me, taking the time to speak with me. I will contact you next month, as you said. And so people are eager to share their wisdom and their knowledge. All we have to do, I believe, and I don't mean to be blithe about it, but we have to ask.
Sure.
We have to be willing to ask. And so and even I've learned a lot from people who are much younger than I am, and that was really empowering for me. That there was a reciprocal relationship. So I was able to. Here I am in the middle. I'm able to learn from people who have much more are in tune with the technology age, and then I have people who have experience in building businesses and failing, and then building something again. And so, but being willing to ask is really important, and not being afraid to fail, and not being afraid to look foolish. I mean, that's not something that's even in my vocabulary. It's like, okay, I don't know something, so I need to find out.